talking about looking back on things fondly, Nick, obviously all the focus is going to be on Messi. He showed up throughout this entire tournament, right? When we look at it, 7 goals, 3 assists, won the Golden Ball. And whenever Argentina needed him, he seemed to step up and just kind of deliver that extra dribble, that extra assist, that extra moment of brilliance. And, you know, with that win, do you think that kind of cements his legacy and almost, I think probably elevates him, right? Above above Pele and Diego Maradona as the greatest player to ever play the game. It's been close between those three. The only thing that Pele and Maradona had over him was winning the World Cup. So now that Messi has that, I think he has to be, as we say, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Here's the thing that gets me when we talk about modern players, and I'm not going to tell you that if we could go back in time and give sports drinks and protein shakes to some of these guys that it wouldn't be different. It was a different sport. But every single team that plays Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or Kylian Mbappe has a wealth of data of what works, of how these players have been frustrated. And Messi has lived through all of that, right? The players are now wearing those, I don't know what they call them, the sport tech or whatever, like the bra-like thing that's under the jersey that tells you how much ground you've covered and where your heat map is and all that. And so for Lionel Messi to be the focus of literally every team he's played against for the last 20 years and deliver is emotional. I think we're stunned by greatness. And I read on when I was coming up, we have a post at our site now with his most notable career achievements. And I went to his site. There was a nickname for him that I hadn't heard. He was called the Sistine Chapel of Football. And I know this is going to sound insane, but I've been to the Vatican and I've walked into that room and looked up at Michelangelo's thing, his art, his what he produced. And it's just like, you just have that wow moment. Messi, the reason I love him as an athlete is he's given me that in watching sports on television. And I know it sounds ridiculous and grandiose, but I mean that. I mean, the man is an artist, and I think we saw, maybe we've seen his masterpiece before, but this is the seminal work, the one that's going to stand out for as long as we talk about him and this great game.
Yeah, and there's no more questions anymore, right? It's no more, but you haven't won the World Cup. There's no more, oh yeah, but you know, he's still not on Maradona and Pele's level. So nobody can say that anymore. And I think that was the only thing holding it back from being, you are the greatest player that has ever walked this earth. And for one, I feel lucky to have seen him in the flesh at Man City and at Chelsea over the years when Barcelona have come in the Champions League. And, you know, you're right, Nick, when you see him up close and to think, how does this work? How does this guy who's marked by 3 or 4 players around him every single game and still manages to get away and produce moments of magic and do things that nobody else can do, to do that for as long as he's done it, and then to finally get this crowning moment now at 35 years of age in his final World Cup and win the Golden Ball and lead Argentina, all the emotion. That is the ultimate mic drop moment from him. And he's going to now just walk off, I'm sure, pretty soon. And he doesn't need to do anymore, right, Andy? I mean, just doesn't need to do anything else or prove anything to anybody. He didn't need to do that before the World Cup.
No.
He has the legacy-defining World Cup. This is it.
Yeah. For some reason, us rational humans allowed that narrative to even exist up until this World Cup began, that he needed the World Cup to cement his place. And I understand that there will always be detractors, there will always be haters, and somebody just looking to troll or debate. But had he gone to the final and penalty kicks gone the other way, what would that have changed? That wouldn't have changed a single thing. His performance over 120 minutes in this game would have been the same. And by the way, his performance over all 690 minutes that Argentina played at this tournament, 35 years old, best player on the field for most of those 690 minutes. You're right, Joe. It is genius. It is brilliance, and it's been going on for almost 2 decades at this point, and it has become so normalized and so just, that's Messi, that we lose sight and I think context of just how good he is. And he is the greatest thing you can say for someone like that is that he makes the spectacular or the impossible look like it's nothing to him, and he does that once or twice or 3 or 4 times every single game. And so for him to get this, it feels right. I don't care that it cements this or it secures this for him. It feels right that Lionel Messi is a world champion because he is the greatest player that has ever played the game.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, right, Nick? I mean, it just seems right to see him with the World Cup trophy, lifting that aloft, and just to be on that stage and to have delivered that for Argentina, where there's been so much pressure on him. It just, the celebrations were relief, were delight, everything kind of mixed into one after coming close so many times and obviously breaking through, winning the Copa America last time out, then winning the World Cup. I mean, what do you think is kind of next for him with Argentina? Do we see him actually holding on and kind of going, hang on a minute, I will come back in the World Cup in the US in 3.5 years' time? Because, you know, that's not a huge amount of time away, really. But does he want to go out in the World Cup like this as the winner? Or do you think you can actually see him coming back for one more go? Just, I feel like he can be tempted a little bit. But that's just me being greedy, maybe.
Yeah, listen, I think he's going to play in the Copa America. I think that'll be his. He may not play in a friendly before then. He doesn't need to. Argentina will look. I think he understands the same way that great international players or national team players understand the importance of the program. And we've seen him. Let's not forget, what is it, 4 or 5 years ago now, that Argentina was an absolute mess. They couldn't get a coach that everyone. Scaloni was even a controversial hire. It was like they were cheating. And I think that's something that will ultimately stand with him, because, you know, when Argentina won the World Cup in 78, and when Maradona did it, it was considered upset, right? Like, they were known as a great team, but this was a surprise. This was taking a team back from the ashes. And Di Maria will have a big say in that. Nicolas Otamendi will have a big say in that. But Messi, when we talk about legacy, takes that with him everywhere he goes.
Yeah, and I think now this will be known as Messi's World Cup, right? Whenever we talk about how great the 2022 World Cup was, all the upsets, all the great storylines, the one storyline that before, during, and now after will endure is that this was Messi's moment to win it. This was his final chance, if you will. The stars of the line, the legacy was there, the story was there to be written. And you know what? He wrote it in his best ever performance in the World Cup. Like he said, at the age of 35, he delivered in each and every game. And the fact that we got to see him do that, I think future generations are going to be extremely, extremely jealous that we actually got to witness it live and see that. So
you know what? I can't wait to be the 3 old guys that are, you know, on the internet in 20 years and people are talking about whoever it is. I won't even make up a name. And we're the old guys. Yeah, but you didn't see Messi. You know, we saw Messi. Messi, 2022 World Cup final. The entire, like, we will be those guys that will be talking about that, and it'll be awesome to be nostalgic and reminisce on this. I already want to reminisce on this, and the game ended 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, a quick one, Joe. Put him in a line with the best players of this generation. Maybe not, David Silva. Put him in a line with Ronaldo, Haaland, and Mbappe, and it's amazing that this guy has played as long as he has. That's what's so remarkable. Mbappe looks like a Greek god. Messi looks like a dude who's stayed in shape into his 30s.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to see his endurance, his longevity. But I guess when you're that much of a genius and that creative on the ball, it gets you an awful long way. So I was just thinking as well to what you said there, Andy. My grandfather will talk about Pele being the best. My father will talk about Maradona. And I'll talk about Messi. And it's just that generation. So I hope in 20 to 25 years' time, there is another player that comes up that can generate this genius and be on that level. I hope that maybe they're out there now, Mbappe or Haaland or whoever. But for right now, I'm just delighted that we got to witness it and see him in full flow, winning the World Cup. And for me, Messi is now is the best of all time. I thought he was beforehand, but anybody who says anything against it now, this World Cup trophy, for whatever reason, this is why he is elevating himself above Diego Maradona and above Pele as the greatest player to ever play the beautiful game.